Good evening and welcome to MHA607 Week 1. This week we'll look to understand who leaders must become. Our focus is on two foundational competencies that separate good managers from truly effective strategic leaders: emotional intelligence and the ability to influence meaningful behavioral change both in ourselves and others. I want you to think about the most impactful leader you've ever worked with. Chances are their effectiveness wasn't primarily about their technical expertise or strategic frameworks. It was about their self-awareness, their ability to manage relationships, and their capacity to inspire others to change, develop, and grow. This week's readings tackle these dimensions head-on. We're going to start with Daniel Goleman's seminal work on emotional intelligence, which is a concept that has fundamentally reshaped how we understand leadership effectiveness. We're pairing that with The Influencer, The Science of Leading Change by Greene and colleagues, which provides evidence-based strategies for creating sustained behavioral change. Additionally, this week, we're not just reading about leadership development, we will actively engage in leadership development with leadership self-assessment. This creates awareness for you to examine your own capabilities, blind spots, and growth opportunities. Emotional intelligence consists of 5 core competencies: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. These aren't soft skills. Research consistently shows that they are predictive of leadership success, sometimes even more so than IQ or technical competence. The connection? Leadership self-assessment you're going to complete this week is designed to surface exactly these dimensions. As you view your results, use Goleman's framework as a lens. Don't just look at the scores. Look at yourself. Why do certain patterns emerge and what they reveal about your emotional intelligence? If you want to explore this topic further, pick up a copy of Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Bradbury and Greaves and take the Emotional Intelligence Appraisal located in that text. Why does self-awareness matter? Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence, and it's your ability to recognize your own emotions, understand how they affect your thinking and behavior, and accurately assess your strengths and limitations. Without self-awareness, you're essentially leading blind. You're reacting rather than responding. You're unaware of your impact on others. Enterprise versus functional leadership. What's the difference? Well, the difference between the two is that functional leadership focuses on optimizing individual departments, like making your unit the best that it can be, where enterprise leadership requires a different mindset. It's balancing system-wide outcomes, sometimes at the expense of departmental optimization. Healthcare executives must integrate both. You need the operational excellence of functional leadership while maintaining the strategic perspective of enterprise leadership. Between unit performance and organizational health, there is a tension, but this is where true executive judgment is tested. Connecting emotional intelligence to the influencer text. Greene and colleagues make a case for the ability to influence behavior change. This is perhaps the most important skill for leaders, because strategic vision means nothing if people don't change how they work. Recall that change is inevitable and growth is optional. The book presents 6 sources of influence across 3 domains, which are personal, social, and structural. Sustainable change requires activating multiple sources simultaneously. You can't just motivate people personally. You need to also reshape social norms and align structural incentives. Here's why this matters for healthcare leaders. You're constantly asking people to change, adopt to new protocols and ways of working, embrace new technologies, or even changes to culture. Most change initiatives fail, not because the ideas are bad, but because leaders rely on a single influence strategy, which is usually personal motivation through inspirational communication. That's necessary, but not sufficient. The most effective leaders, according to this research, are diagnosticians of behavior. They ask, what or why is the current behavior easy and attractive? What would or how do we make the desired behavior easy and attractive? They then systematically work across all 6 sources of influence to influence that change. Few reminders in the assignments for the week. As you engage with this week's material, approach the leadership assessment with radical honesty. Only then will you get what you need from it. Resist the urge to answer how you wish you were or how you think you should be. Answer how you actually are. When you read Goldman, identify one emotional intelligence dimension where you're strong and one where you want to grow or develop. When you read Influencer, think about a change initiative you're currently leading or experiencing. What sources of influence are being activated? Which are missing? Incorporate this into your discussion post and or your peer responses. In closing, strategic leadership begins with leading yourself with awareness, discipline, and a commitment to continuous growth. This week's material gives you the frameworks and the mirror. What you do with them is up to you. The floor is open for any discussion.